Kahala Yahweh Bashim Abashai, Bashim Kakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone of well. I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors. Peace and blessings may it abound unto the sincere brothers and sisters doing this, wherever you are, whatever your lot may be. Here's another one from the Good Old Time app. And you know what? I'm gonna let it speak for itself, because without a doubt, we are nearing a very interesting time where there's a turning point. There's going to be a change of power. Jacob's trouble is going to reach a peak. Your money won't be worth as much. And the most important thing that we will have was the knowledge and the gift of the Holy Spirit and faith, which is also a gift that Yahweh Bashim Yahushai bestowed unto those select few. And I pray that, all of us who have it, that we keep it. Because basically it's time. We're here. All right, so I'm going to let this play. And you can see, because I've gone in time and time, about how, not just me, you can go GMS and type in America and Rome, but this is that deadly wound that was healed. Actually, can we get that real quick? Because that first Rome is Revelation 13:3. That first Rome fell, but it didn't quite go away. Okay, you had the when they fell, Jake took over. All right, and then that 1,000-year period, the devil was released, and that devil is Esau, Edom, and he was able to go out and deceive the nations, and we are coming to an end of that deceptive period where he was able to go and wreak havoc throughout the earth. So I'll just read it straight to the point. Revelation 13:3. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. Okay, so that wound that was healed, now Babylon the Great is also Rome 2.0, quote unquote. And the very things that you see going on then are happening now, right? Because the book of Ecclesiasticus tells you there is nothing new under the sun. Not even souls. Souls are recycled. You're just in new flesh suits so you can exist on this plane.
Empires do not begin or end on a certain date, but they do end, and the West has not yet come to terms with its fading supremacy.
Because this devil is proud. The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, or is it chapter 3? I don't know. Now I got to get it. But he's proud. He can't keep it at home. He can't even coexist. As long as he's on top, they can coexist. As long as he's calling the shots, they can quote unquote coexist. But ever since this devil has come into power, it has just been hell in torment. The earth is crying out. The people are crying out, and the Bible makes mention of that. He is literally a cancer. Yes, here we go. Habakkuk 2:5. It tells you, yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather up unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So you can go into the impending MOB, or what they're gonna put in your arm to track you. He just can't help it. He's got to have it all. He's insatiable. All right, that's why it says he opens his, he enlarges himself as hell. There's 750 bases, military bases around the world. So many different embassies.
At the end of every empire, under the guise of renewal, tribes, armies, and organizations appear and devour the heritage of the former superpower, often from within.
Is this place not crumbling from within? And I speak as a man, but that started from the infiltration of the Amalekite in this nation. And, they wiggle themselves in and take control and establish a national bank and then put a nation in debt. And then, boom, you have decadence.
In his essay, The Fate of Empires, the soldier, diplomat and traveller Lieutenant General Sir John Glubb analysed the life cycle of empires. He found remarkable similarities between them all. An empire lasts about 250 years.
And the striking I'm sorry to keep pausing it. The striking similarities between Rome is because according to end-time prophecy, Esau Edom would be ruling Babylon the Great, just as he was ruling Rome.
Or 10 generations, from the early pioneers to the final conspicuous consumers who become a burden on the state. 6 ages defined the lifespan of an empire. The age of pioneers, the age of conquests, the
colonization,
age of commerce, the age of affluence, the age of intellect, ending with bread and circuses.
But their intellect is pseudoscience, right? They've gotten up above, mainly because Yahweh Bashim Yahshai allowed it. But they've gotten up above us using that pseudoscience. That very same science says that you are 3/5 of a human, or your brain, I'm talking to you, Israelite man, so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American, that your brain the shape of your skull is different, and that is why you were made to be subservient, or the Negro isn't smart enough to manage himself. That is why it's good that he's in slavery. But this hypocrite also takes all the ideas of the ingenuity of the sons of Jacob. He takes all of their ideas. So which one is it? Is he not smart enough to operate on his own? Or is he? But then they turn around and say, well, see, it's good that they're in slavery. That's why they're intuitive and goodness. Their ingenuity peaks because we have them in slavery. So you see, he's just all over the place because he makes no sense. This devil is crazy.
In the age of decadence. There are common features to every age of decadence. An undisciplined, overextended military. The conspicuous display of wealth. A massive disparity between rich and poor. A desire to live off a bloated state.
Now, are we not in a huge disparity between the rich and the poor? And the C-19 helped facilitate the even bigger gap. They pretty much widen the gap between the rich and the poor. There is no more middle class. You're poor or you're wealthy.
And an obsession with sex. But perhaps the most notorious trait of all is the debasement of the currency.
And you see that. And you see everything, every time he's ruled an empire, it's gone down. One, because that's what the Lord wants to happen. And two, he is nothing but a vessel fitted for destruction. And because the Lord is just, he allowed this devil to rule. But, we're coming to an end of that, like I said before. Straight to the point, Romans 9:22, what if God, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted for destruction? That is why they're allowed to do what they are doing and have been doing. It is according to prophecy. And once that cup fills, all right, judgment spills, as I said before.
The United States and Great Britain both began on a gold or silver standard, long since abandoned. Rome was no different.
And you notice that it said the United States and Britain now. That I believe it's in the book of Daniel, where it talks about the seventh being of the eighth. All right, that would be Britain spitting out America.
So it started on a principle that was very sound, and it was on a silver standard. But as it corrupted further and further and further, the Roman denarius got to the point where it was basically a copper coin, and they learned how to plate, and it was washed in silver, and in circulation the plating came off. And at the end, all the senators that really did at one time represent the people only were interested in representing how much wealth they could steal at the top.
Great empire wealth always dazzles, but beneath the surface, the unbridled desire for money, power, and material possessions means that duty and public service are replaced by leaders and citizens who scramble for the spoils.
Historically, all the signs of the demise of empire are beginning to develop. Some are more trenchant than others. This current financial and economic crisis, that sort of thing always accompanies the demise of empire.
The people of Rome were constantly being distracted by the gladiatorial events, and the politicians knew that they did this. Whenever there was unrest among the people, they had a huge event going on, and they created a new event with lots and lots of gladiators, and every day we're doing that. That is a common trait of declining empires.
You see, and it's written on the wall. There's no way to not see it unless you are just have been blinded that much. And hey, I feel for you. But you see that now. Bread and circus, entertainment, scandal, political scandals, MASSSHOOTING. They always have a manifesto. There's always some sort of distraction or always some sort of bread and circus to where either you're entertained or you're in fear. So you're too happy and too high and too drunk and too entertained to pay attention to what's going on while they're stealing things out of your back pocket, or you're too afraid to think on your own and you obey out of fear.
And so today in the United States, for example, you find a tremendous emphasis on all kinds of television programs that distract people from what's really going on. Sports is a big part of that, as it was in the gladiator times. In essence, we've been lulled into a lethargy, and we've accepted it.
Just as our sports stars today earn vast sums, so did Roman charioteers. In the 2nd century, one by the name of Gaius Apuleius Diocles amassed a fortune of 35 million sesterces in prize money, equivalent to several $1 billion today. Strangely, perhaps, there's another profession that is disproportionately hallowed as an empire declines. The Romans, the Ottomans, and the Spanish all made celebrities of their chefs.
And this again is typifying the end of an empire, where things were so great, we have this last oomph of momentum that we used to be great, and we felt great, and we don't feel it anymore. So everyone is out searching for it. Well, maybe it's in the best food, or the best clothes, or the best music, or the...
See, but nobody is looking, and it's by design, and I'm speaking to Israelites, nobody is searching for the truth, for this word, for these living waters. But that's all right, because when that famine comes, according to prophecy, when that famine comes, that's when they're going to be looking. So the best music, the best food, the best clothes, none of that is going to matter. And this is kind of long, so if you want to take a screenshot, go ahead and do so, and you can watch this video in its entirety. But I'm pretty sure that you get the point. And if you have not already read this, I believe it's 2 Maccabees chapter 7. All right, this is the mother. Pretty much this is in the Greek captivity. All right, so you can liken this as well, because they were the Greeks first before they were Romans, and they weren't even really the Greeks. The Greeks were a dark-skinned people, and Etruscan. They were Japhetic. But of course, they pillaged, plundered, stole the land, and then said, "We're the Greeks." But anyway, this mother and her 7 sons refused to obey the king's commandment and instead chose to die and suffer valiantly for the laws of that were passed down from Abraham onto Isaac and to Jacob. And that is how serious it is. And nowadays, nobody even cares. Or they don't even look and think and see that our ancestors died before they would put swine in their mouth. Now that's all a nigga eat. You can't get a nigga away from his pork. So if you have not read through this, read it all the way through. And they are going to pay for all of this, right? Because they're going to come in this spirit pretty soon. A devil always shows his colors when he's backed into a corner. So when, your average Joe Smo neighbor, okay, he's fine now, he's cool now, but just wait until things are not in abundance. All right, because the scripture says also in 2nd Esdras that, men was going to be running in each other's houses, right? People's wives will be ravished. Man. And you can read it all day, but you can't fathom it until you see it, until you watch it, until it is your reality and delusion cannot take over anymore. All right, so I'm going to go straight to the point. And again, you read this on your own. This is verse 14, 2 Maccabees, chapter 7, verse 14. So when he was ready to die, he said, it is good, being put to death by men, to look for hope from Yahweh to be raised up again by him. As for thee, and this is the point that I wanted to get, they, Esau, Edom, the only ones promised not promised any sort of resurrection or any mercy, right? Because they shown no mercy. And again, he was that vessel fitted for destruction, all right? And it says, as for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection to life. And he was speaking to an Edomite ruler, and he raised the representation of that nation in that time. They won't. And soon we'll all wake up from this as if it was a terrible, awful, awful dream. So with that being said, I pray that you edified. Shalom.